Hi, I'm Jerry Carter with the Sierra Crest Business Law Group. I want to talk today to business owners who have been sued in court or whose businesses have been sued in court other than small claims court. I want to talk about the question of should you try to represent yourself or your business in court? A lot of business owners consider that. I've talked in the last month to a couple who have tried that unsuccessfully, and I just want to go through the considerations in making such an important decision. And so, first of all, why would a business owner try to represent himself in court? Well, it's more common for people to represent themselves in divorce court, and some of that trend is spilling over into the business arena. Some business owners believe that it will be more cost effective, less expensive if they represent themselves. And a lot of business owners are used to explaining their way out of things, and they believe that all they have to do is show up in court or write a letter to the judge or call the judge and explain their side of the story, and everything will magically resolve. And so that's kind of some of the thinking that goes into business owners self-representing. But I want to talk to you about the reality of the situation. First of all, the first big reality of the situation is that while an individual is permitted under court rules to represent himself or herself in court, a business entity such as a corporation or a limited liability company or a limited partnership is not permitted under court rules to be represented by a non-attorney. And so right out of the gate, if you show up for your business entity, you're going to get turned away. And probably your business entity will be put into default and a lot of bad things will happen. So that's rule number one. But even beyond that, even if you are able to represent yourself, if you are a sole proprietor or if you got sued individually in court, it's still a bad idea. I'd like to walk through the considerations of a business owner representing himself or herself in court in terms of time, money, and reputation. In terms of time, the court is a highly formal place. There is a lot of structure, there are a lot of rules. Most attorneys who practice in court are familiar with the rules and they can work with them and through them in an efficient manner. That's not true for businesses who have gotten sued, because you have your business, you're running your business, you have a lot of expertise in your area, but you don't go to court enough to learn the rules. And so everything you're doing in court as a business owner representing himself or herself, you're doing for the first time. And why do you want to learn all the court procedures from scratch when it may make more sense to hire a professional who's already familiar with the rules and can work in that system? In terms of time, there's another consideration, which is a good business attorney will be able to spot opportunities to get a quick resolution for your case and save you time that way, whereas the untrained eye may not see that. I'm an attorney, I'm not a mechanic. I rely on a mechanic to have the training and the knowledge to be able to look at my car's engine and spot issues that I can't see. And it's the same way when you're dealing with an attorney. You're relying on that attorney to see things that you don't see because the attorney has experience in court. Let's also look at it in terms of money, because a lot of business owners say, well, I can't afford to hire an attorney to represent my company in court, or the dispute is small, and so why would I hire that attorney? Well, the reality is that a small dispute that you've been sued for, if you're not there and able to adequately represent yourself, that small amount can grow really fast, and especially if you get into a default situation. And so don't look at the initial amount that was in dispute and assume that that is the ceiling on how bad it can get for you in court. The second thing is that, as we talked about, court's a highly formal, structured place. As a self-representing person, you are guaranteed that you will misstep. You're going to run afoul of the rules somewhere, and at some point, your business will be put into default, which is a legal term for you technically lose. And to get yourself out of default, you're probably going to have to hire an attorney, and it's probably going to cost the attorney, or cost you, legal fees of about 3 to 5 times the amount that you would have spent if you had just gotten the attorney in the first place. And so to correct all that damage, you're going to end up making it worse for yourself. And so if a business owner is saying, I can't afford to defend my business with an attorney in court, my question is, how are you going to afford to pay 3 to 5 times that amount after you misstep and have to get your situation corrected in court and hire an attorney to do that? So that's something to think about in terms of the time and the money equation. The last is the reputation equation. Remember, some business owners are very persuasive. They're used to talking to people, explaining themselves, and they just assume that a judge is just eager to hear what they have to say, and a quick conversation is going to solve everything. Well, that's not true. The judge doesn't want to get your letter in the mail. The judge doesn't want to pick up the phone when you call the judge's chambers and try to explain yourself. It's a highly formal process. There's a way to position yourself to get your argument in front of the court and to be heard, but you have to follow the process. And so it's, doing it yourself without knowing the process, you're going to cause a lot of frustration for the judge, and that's going to end up coming back to you and your appearance in court. The other thing to think about in terms of your reputation is you're a professional. You have your area of expertise, the product or service that you provide, that you're good at providing. Well, what happens when you get into court? You're in a foreign arena. You're not sure, you're not on sure footing, and you're not doing things right. And it's going to be reflected in the orders that are entered in the case, and the judgment that's going to be entered probably against you. And it's going to make you look like a flake. When people look at the outcome of this lawsuit and what the judge has to say because he or she was so frustrated that you didn't do it the right way, it's going to give a very flaky appearance, and that's going to stay with your business reputation for a long time. And so what I would encourage you to do is to give some serious consideration to the pros and cons of protecting your business the right way. I mean, as a professional, you're used to doing things the right way. This is no different. Make a professional appearance in court with a business attorney. If you have questions about anything that we've discussed or anything I've talked about in terms of self-representation, I'd be happy to continue that conversation with you. Just call 775-448-6070. Again, 775-448-6070. Again, I'm Jerry Carter with the Sierra Crest Business Law Group, and look forward to continuing that conversation with you. Thanks.